Hello Year 1, welcome back to Virtual RE. I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you enjoyed your break. It's good to be back doing Virtual RE, but hopefully not for too long before we can be back in school. This half term, we're going to be asking this question. What does God look like in Islam? And it kind of links into what we've done the last two half terms. So before the break, we were looking at what God is like in Christianity. And we thought about this idea of God. We thought about the idea of someone who is all powerful, someone who people believe in, but they can't necessarily see them or touch them or point to them. Someone who is so important for the lives of people who believe in them that they will give up almost anything and everything in order to follow them. So Christianity has one God and Islam has one God as well. And the Arabic word for God, which is the language which Muslims speak in their religion, is Allah. So we're going to ask today the question, who is Allah? And we're actually going to recap some of the things that we did in year 1 on this first lesson before we get into the different ways in which Muslim people see their God and interact with their God and show their God through art and things like that. So this half term, we're going to be looking at the religion of Islam. People who follow Islam are called Muslims. All Muslims believe in one God, and the Arabic word for that God is Allah. And this is the Arabic word Allah. So we looked at this again back in September and October, but Muslims use the Arabic language when they're praying or reading the Quran, which is their holy book. And this is the name of their God, Allah, written in that language. To believe in a God means to believe in a force or person which is more powerful than anything else on earth. And not only that, but to believe in a force which created the earth and everything in it. The idea that Muslims have is that Allah is the creator and the sustainer. So Allah created the earth, created all of the forces that are on the earth, created all of the creatures and the plants that are here on earth. But Allah didn't just create this and then leave. Allah created this and sustains it and gives it life and provides the force that keeps the earth going. So you can start to see why the figure of Allah is so important to Muslims. Not only did Allah have the power to create the world, but Allah also looks after the world. Allah is also here in the world amongst us. At least that's what Muslims believe. So this is a bit tricky to get your head around if you're not familiar with the idea of a God, but it's really important to understand because Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Sikhism, lots of religions around the world and lots of people you will know in your lives, and you might know them already, believe in God and believe very strongly in God. It's a very important part of their identity. Muslims cannot see Allah, they cannot touch Allah. They cannot prove to other people that Allah exists, but they have a belief in Allah. You can't take a photo of a God. You can't show it to someone else on your phone. You can't paint a picture of God. You can't draw God. But Muslims, Christians, Jewish people all believe that God really exists, and they have different reasons for this. They might believe that they've experienced God themselves. They might trust what is written in the holy books, like for Muslims, the Quran. They might have been told it by their parents or by important people in their lives, or it might just be the norm. It might be what's expected of them around the world. There are different reasons for people having this belief, but that is the fact that Muslims all believe that there is one God, that God is Allah, that Allah created the world, and that you can't see God in the same way that I can see this can of drink or this lamp or this plant. Some Muslims say that Allah is like the wind. You can't see the wind, you can't take a photo of the wind, but you can feel it and you can see the effects that it has. I can see when it's been a windy day because I can see the plants the trees out in my garden don't have leaves anymore. I can go down to the sea and I can see the waves that are caused by the wind. I can see chimneys being toppled over from houses when it's really windy, but I can't see the wind itself. And Muslims say that Allah is like that you can see the effects that Allah has on the world, but you can't see Allah. You can't take a photo of Allah. Muslims never paint or draw pictures of Allah, and that's because they think Allah is too special to be able to draw. A painting or drawing would never be good enough. If I sent you away and said, go and draw a picture of the wind, you wouldn't be able to do it. The wind exists, people can feel the wind and see its effects, but you can't draw a picture of it. And it's the same with Allah. Muslims believe you shouldn't even try to draw a picture of Allah or the Prophet Muhammad, who's the most important figure in Islam, because you will never be able to do justice to just how special and important they are to Muslims. So that's the end of today's lesson, recapping some of the things we should already know about Allah and about God and about religion. This is the Arabic word again. Do you remember what this word means? It means Allah. Next lesson, we're going to be looking in a bit more depth at God and the idea of Allah in Islam. I hope you found today interesting. I'll speak to you then. I hope you have a lovely week ahead of you, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye, year one. Bye-bye.